Hey, this is Toby. Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I uploaded the last video here on this channel. I'm sorry for that. And I'm also currently in Spain on vacation in my camper van. So if the setup is not perfect, but I just wanted to record a video for you guys. So in today's video, we will take a look at a simple expert advisor. I will show you how to code this EA step by step. And in the end of the video, we will also do some back testing. Here, for example, is a result I got over the last 8 years with the default broker data. Okay, but before we start with the strategy idea of this video, I just want to let you know that I have a programming course now available on my website. So if you want to learn mql5 from the ground up, you may check it out. And I also have a Discord server now. You can join the Discord server here, or I will put all the links in the description below. Okay, but now let's take a look at the strategy idea for this video. So this EA will be based on a simple moving average, and then we will use a ATR to set a upper and a lower level. And if we reach the upper level, we will take a sell position. If we cross the lower level, we will take a buy position. So this EA will be a simple mean reverting strategy, and we will also add a stop loss based on the ATR, a take profit based on the ATR, and we will also add the option that we can set the take profit to the moving average. So when we take a sell position here and we cross the moving average, then we will close the position in profit. Okay, so let's take a look at the meta editor and we start coding. Okay, so here we are in the meta editor. So let's create a new file. Here, top left corner, click on new, expert advisor template, next. Let's name the EA MA Pullback EA. You can put your own name here and your own website, doesn't really matter. Click on next, next, finish. So this is our new file here. And I like to clean up these comments here. Of course, this is personal preference. I just don't like the default template. Like this. I want to delete this comment here. And the last line here. Okay, so this is our file. Let's compile and make sure we have no mistake here. And let's start with the coding. Okay, so the first step I want to do here is to include a few files, the C trade class and the C position info class. So let's create a new section here after the properties. And you can just press Control and period to get a comment like this, and I will just type here in include. So we have a new section, and here we can just type hashtag include, and now the C trade class, so trade / trade .mqh like this, and we also want to include the C position info class, so include and also trade / position info .mqh like this. Let's hit compile to make sure we have no mistake here. Okay. Next, we can take a look at the inputs of the EA. So I will just create another comment section, control period, and I will type here inputs. And for the inputs, first of all, maybe we create a group. So we can write input group. And let's just call this, add a divider basically, maybe like this, general. And the first input is a static input, so we cannot change it. And this is of course the magic number. So static input of type long for the magic number. And I always start my inputs with here input and then magic number, or let's say magic number. And we also set a default value, just a random number here, and we add a comment. So this is what we see from outside, and we don't want to see here this variable name. So we can just type magic number like this. Okay, next input is the lot size. for the EA. So here we can specify how many lots we want to trade. So this is also a static input of type double. And we start with input, and let's call this lot size. And we also set a default value. Maybe we start or set a low lot size as the default value here, and a comment lot size. Okay, let's hit compile. Okay, so next, maybe we add another group. So we can just type input group, and here we just call this group trading, for example. And the first input here for this group is our trigger level. So a input of type double, because this will be set by multiplying the ATR and adding to the moving average. I will explain this in a few seconds. So input double, and the input name, input trigger level, maybe like this, and a default value of, let's say, 2.0, and also a comment here. So trigger level is factor of ATR. So this, when we have 2.0 here, this just means, so if we take a look at the platform here, when we have 2.0 for the trigger level, our trigger level here is set at the moving average plus 2 times the current ATR value added to the moving average value. And of course we subtract here for the lower trigger level, and that's what we can set here with this input. Okay, next input is also of type double for the stop loss. So input stop loss ATR, and the stop loss will also be set as a factor of the ATR. So here we can say maybe 5.0 for a default value, and let's also write a comment, stop loss as factor of ATR, and also 0 means off, so we want to have the option to have no stop loss just for testing. Okay, let's hit compile again, no mistake. Okay, now the next input is for the take profit, and as I said in the beginning of the video, we want to have the option to have a take profit again as a factor of the ATR, and also a option that we use the moving average as our trailing take profit basically. So if we take a sell position here and we cross the moving average, we will close the position in profit. Okay, so let's write a enum for this, so we can select the mode of the take profit as a factor of the ATR or using the moving average. So enum, and let's call this take profit mode, like this, and maybe we also add enum here. Okay, and the first option here is take profit mode ATR. We also add a comment here, take profit as factor of ATR. The second option, so this will be a drop down later in the inputs, take profit mode and MA for moving average. Also a comment here, take profit at moving average. Let's close the enum here, add a semicolon. Okay, let's compile, no mistake. And now we can use this enum in our inputs. So here, now we can write input, and the variable type now is our take profit mode enum, and the name input take profit mode. Maybe we just write take profit mode like this, so it's a little bit shorter here. And the default value, now we can select one of the two options here, is maybe the ATR, like this. And we can also add a comment here, take profit mode. Okay, let me align this a little bit, or we do this in the end. So let's compile and let's take a look how this looks like when we run the EA. So I will just open a new chart. Today is Sunday, so there are no ticks here, but we can still test the inputs. So I will open the navigator here. You can open the navigator, view navigator, and then you should see your file, the MA Pullback EA. I will drop it on the chart here, and we have a comment tab here and a input tab, and we can already see the inputs, the magic number, lot size, trigger level, and here our take profit mode. And we can see this is a drop down where we can select the mode for the take profit. Okay, let's close the window here and go back to the meta editor. Let's take a look at the next inputs. So the next input is also for the take profit, because here we have the mode, and now we need a input like here for the stop loss, where we can set the factor in case we select here take profit mode ATR. So input of type double, the name is input take profit ATR, and default value maybe 4.0, and a comment here, take profit as factor of ATR. And also we want to have the option to have no take profit, so 0 equals off, like this. Okay, next, what we also want to have for this EA is the option to close the positions at a opposite signal. So when we have a sell position open here, we will close the sell position when we got a signal for a new buy trade down here. And we will close the buy position when we have a new sell entry signal. So we are basically always in the market. Of course, we can also add a stop loss and take profit, but let's write the input for this. So this will be a of type Boolean, and let's just call this input close by signal maybe, and the default value is false. And let's also write a comment here. So close trades by opposite signal, like this. Let's compile. Okay. Next, we also want to have a input, of course, for the moving average. So we can write a new group. I will just copy this, and let's call this here moving average. And we only really need one input for the moving average, so of type integer, and this will be the period of the moving average. So we can just write period MA, default, I don't know, 21, and a comment here, MA period, and we copy these two lines and do the same for the ATR. So ATR, or average through range, and let's change this to ATR, and the default is maybe also 21. That's fine. Let's also change the comment here, ATR period. Let's actually write this in capital letters. Okay, let's compile. So these are all the inputs we need for this EA for now. Yeah, make sure you have no mistake. And now we can take a look at the global variables we need for this expert advisor. So let's create a new section here before the onInit and after our inputs. Again, control period, and I will type here global variables like this. And the first one is our handle for our moving average indicator. So of type integer, handle MA, and of course we need also a handle for the ATR indicator. Next of type double is the buffer for the moving average values. So buffer MA like this, and the same for the ATR like this. Next we want to have one global tick variable of type mql tick like this, and let's just call it tick. And we want, of course, a object of the cTrade class. We include it up here, and a object of the cPositionInfo class. So we will use these objects to open and close positions. So cTrade, and let's just call this object trade, and of cPositionInfo position. Okay, so these are all the global variables we need. Let's hit compile, make sure you have no mistake, and we can take a look at the onInit function. So in the onInit, the first thing I want to code is to check our input variables. So we can do this directly here in the onInit function, or we write a custom function for this. It's easier to read when we write a custom function, so let's just go all the way down here after the onTick function, and I will create a new section here, control period, and I will call this custom functions. We will have a few custom functions to count positions, to open and close positions. And here let's type the function name. So the type is void, or let's say bool. We just want to return true or false. If all inputs are correct, then we return true for the onInit function. So let's call this check inputs, no parameters, because all the inputs are global variables. Let's close the function, and in the end here we write return true. And now we will add a few if statements here to check all the inputs. So the first one is our magic number. So if our input magic number is less or equal to 0, this should not be the case. So if the user enters 0, we want to print a message maybe, or maybe we do a alert. This is more visible for the user. So we just type magic number less or equal 0. We can also type here wrong input, so it's more clear. Let's close this alert function here, and we need to return false for this check inputs function. And then in the onInit, if this check input function returns false, we will return input parameters incorrect later. So this is the magic number, and now we can just copy this if statement here, paste it. The next one is the lot size. So input lot size. Lot size should not be equal or below 0. Okay, now let's also change the alert here. Wrong input, lot size below or equal 0. Let's paste the if statement again. Next input, I think, is the trigger level. So the input trigger level should not be below or equal 0. So let's change this here. trigger level. Let's paste the if statement again. Next input, I think, is the stop loss. So let's change this input stop loss ATR, and this input can be 0. So this means no stop loss, but should not be below 0. So stop loss below 0. And let's just hit compile to see if we have a mistake. Okay. Now the next input. I know this is always time consuming here, checking the inputs, but I think it's pretty helpful. So if the EA does not start, you know what is wrong or what was the wrong input. Okay, so next, after the stop loss, we have the take profit mode. So input, I think we call it take profit mode. So if the take profit mode is take profit mode ATR, and our input take profit ATR is below 0. If we use the moving average for the take profit, of course we don't care about the ATR input here. So that's why we add this condition here. Wrong input, take profit below 0. Okay, next if statement is for the period of the moving average. So input period MA. The period should not be below or equal to 1. So a period below or equal to 1, and the last one, I will copy this, is the period for the ATR. Of course, we don't always need a ATR if we have no stop loss and we close the trades at the moving average. But let's just make sure the user always enters a correct ATR period here. So this also is 1, and we just change this to ATR period of 1. Okay, I think that's all for the inputs. Let's take a look. We missed any input. We have the trigger, we have the stop loss, take profit, the close signal. Yeah, we don't need to check this. This is true or false. Okay, that's all. So let's hit compile. Make sure we have no mistake here. And now we can use this check input function in our onInit here. And we can do a simple if statement. And if the check input function returns true, everything is fine. And I will add a exclamation mark here. So if the check input function returns false, we also want to return false basically for the onInit function. So we return here init parameter is incorrect, and the EA will not start with wrong inputs. Maybe we add a comment here, check user inputs. Let's hit compile. Okay, so next, after we check the inputs here in the onInit, let me decrease the size a little bit. We want to set the magic number to our trade object. So we can write a comment here, set magic number to trade object. And for this, we can just type trade.set expert magic number. And here, of course, we specify our input magic number like this. Next, in the onInit, we want to create the indicator handles for the moving average and also for the ATR. So create indicator handles, and first of all the handle for the moving average, and we will use the IMA function because the moving average is already built in the MetaTrader 5 platform, so we don't need to use a custom indicator here. And here we need to specify the symbol. For the current symbol, we can just type underscore symbol. and the period, the current period, and the moving average period is our input period MA, and the shift 0, the mode simple moving average. Of course, you can test different modes, but we start with the simple moving average here. You could also write a input for this, for example, to change this from outside. And the applied price here is just price close, like this. Okay, now we have the handle here, and we need to check if this call here with this function was successful. So we can write a simple if statement. If our handle MA is equal to a invalid handle, this case we also want to stop the EA, and we can write a alert here for the user. Yeah, maybe just failed to create MA handle, just a message for the user. And we also want to return for the onInit function init failed, like this. Let's compile, and now we do the same for the ATR indicator. So I will just copy this, paste it below here, and let's change the handle to ATR, and the function now is IATR simple period, and the ATR period input parameter here. And I don't think we need any more parameters for this function. Yeah. So we just add the semicolon here. Of course, we change this to ATR, and we also change the alert message ATR handle. Okay, let's compile. So now we have created the moving average handle, the ATR handle here in the onInit function. And next we want to set our buffers as series. So the latest value at index 0 is basically the latest value of our indicator. Set buffers as series, and for this there's a function called array set as series, and first we do this for our buffer moving average, and we set this to true, and we do the same for our buffer ATR to true. Okay, so let's hit compile here. For now, this is all we need to do here in the onInit. Or maybe what we want to do is to draw the indicators directly on the chart, so we don't have to add the expert advisor, and after that we have to add the indicators by hand. So let's draw them here in the onInit. So we can type a comment here, draw MA indicator on chart, and we can do this by using the chart. First of all, we want to delete the indicator if the indicator is already on the chart. So null here for the current chart, sub window is also 0 for the main chart window, and the indicator short name. Now here we want to set this to MA, then a bracket, and now we want to convert the period to a string. So integer to string our input period MA. Yeah, that's all we need to do here. We close the function call and we add a bracket. So plus like this, and we close the chart indicator delete function with another bracket and a semicolon. So let's hit compile to make sure that we don't have a mistake here. So this has to be the default name of a moving average window indicator, and if we take a look, we can see the name. If you put a moving average on the chart, let's say here is a new chart. If I insert a moving average like this, now I can click on View and Data Window, and we can see the name of the moving average here, so MA, and then the period in brackets, and that's exactly what we did here, MA and the period of the moving average in brackets. So we delete this indicator if there's already a moving average on the chart, and then we want to draw the indicator, chart indicator, I think it's called add, yeah, chart ID, null for the current chart, 0 for the main chart window, and the indicator handle. And we already have the indicator handle here, handle MA. So we use the handle to draw the indicator, add a semicolon like this, and let's hit compile. Okay, and we do the same. So I just copy this, paste it. Let's delete this here. So we do the same for the ATR. Just change this to ATR, and also the period to ATR, very important, and the handle also to ATR. And now we can compile, and let's see if we can already see the indicators if we start the EA. So make sure you have no mistake here, and let's switch to a chart. I will delete the indicator here, and let's start the EA, MA pullback EA. I will just use the default inputs. I press OK. Okay, we can see the moving average here, but we don't see the ATR indicator, and that's probably because I have this wrong sub window. Yeah, because the ATR is of course displayed in a separate window below the chart. So we need to change this to 1 and also this to 1. Yeah, let's hit compile. Now we should see the ATR, yeah, displayed down below here. So that's how you can add indicators to the chart. And when you start the EA, you don't have to add them by hand. Okay, so next step would be to also remove the indicators when we remove the EA, because right now, if I remove the expert advisor here, the indicators, they will just stay on the chart. Of course, that's something we need to add in the next part, because the video is already pretty long, so we do this in the next video. Yeah, if you are interested, again, in a mql5 programming course, if you want to learn mql5 from the ground up, make sure to check out my website. And yeah, I also have a Discord server now, so I will put all the links in the description. And I hope this video was helpful for you. Make sure to like the video if it was, and subscribe if you don't want to miss the next part. Write a comment if you have a question about mql5 or yeah, automated trading in general, and I will see you in one of the next videos. Bye bye.